My girlfriend's friends arranged a test where she'd pretend to break up with me. When she told me, "It's over," I went along with it and said, "Finally, now I can stop acting like I don't know about you and Aaron." Her friends were stunned when they realized their test had backfired completely. I'm 33. I work as a financial analyst for a mid-sized investment firm, mostly corporate forecasting and risk modeling. Stable job, predictable hours, detail-oriented work. I like numbers because they either add up or they don't. I don't do drama, I don't play games, and I generally assume adults mean what they say. My girlfriend, Kayla, is 29F. We've been together a little over 2 years. We don't live together, but we basically rotate between her apartment and my condo. I've met her family, she's met mine, holidays together, the whole thing. On paper, solid. Kayla, however, thrives on chaos. Not full-on disaster, but constant emotional stimulation. Group chats that never stop buzzing. TikTok relationship advice. Know your worth posts every other day. Her friends especially are big on testing men. Loyalty tests. Fake scenarios. Manufactured drama to see how someone reacts. I always thought it was immature, but harmless. I figured that stuff was just noise around the edges of our relationship. Looking back, I should have paid closer attention. About 3 months ago, a guy named Aaron started popping up more often in conversation. He was a coworker, marketing department. According to her, harmless, funny, kind of full of himself. She mentioned him a lot, not in a romantic way, but enough that I noticed the frequency. I don't get jealous easily. I operate on patterns. If something changes, I clock it. Her texting increased. Phone face down more often. Random late team brainstorms. Nothing concrete, just enough small deviations from baseline to register. I didn't accuse. I didn't confront. I just observed. Fast forward to last Friday. Kayla texted me around 6 p.m. asking if we could talk that night. Tone was serious. No emojis. That alone was unusual. When I got to her place, 2 of her friends' cars were parked down the street. Not in her lot. Down the street. That was my first clue something theatrical was happening. She opened the door, already teary-eyed. Not crying, just prepped. The kind of face you make when you have rehearsed a speech in the mirror. We sat on the couch, and she said it. "It's over. I just don't feel the same anymore." There was a pause, like she was waiting for something specific. Begging. Shock. Collapse. Instead, I felt weirdly calm. Because the second she said it, everything clicked. The cars down the street. The performance energy. The way she kept glancing toward the window like someone might be watching. This wasn't real. It was a test. And in that moment, I decided if she wanted theater, I would give her a different ending than she expected. So I nodded once and said, "Finally, now I can stop pretending I don't know about you and Aaron." Her face didn't just change. It glitched. And from outside, I swear I heard someone gasp. For a solid 3 seconds, Kayla just stared at me. Not angry, not defensive, just completely blank, like her brain had lost connection. Then she blinked fast and said, "What are you talking about?" And that's when I knew 2 things. 1, this absolutely was a setup. 2, she did not expect to be on defense. I leaned back into the couch cushions like we were discussing dinner plans. "You know exactly what I'm talking about," I said calmly. "I'm honestly relieved you finally said it." Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. She glanced toward the window. Subtle, but obvious once you're looking for it. "Relieved?" She repeated. "Yeah, saves me the awkward conversation." That's when her composure started cracking. Her voice got sharper. "What conversation? Why are you acting like this?" Because I was tired of pretending I didn't notice the Aaron situation. And that name hit like a brick. Her whole body stiffened. Not outrage. Not confusion. Stiffened. From outside, there was movement. I caught it in my peripheral vision. A shadow near the blinds. Someone definitely standing closer to the house now. Kayla stood up. "There is no situation with Aaron," she snapped. "You're being paranoid." Paranoid would mean guessing. I'm not guessing. Silence. Then she did something interesting. Instead of asking what I supposedly knew, she said, "Who told you that?" And that right there told me everything. "Nobody told me," I said. "I have eyes." That's when the front door handle rattled. Not fully opened, just tested. And suddenly the performance collapsed. Her friend Melissa burst in first, followed by Jenna, both looking like kids who had just knocked over a display in a store. "What is happening?" Melissa demanded. I stood up slowly. "I think you tell me," I said. "You guys wanted a show, right?" Kayla's face went from pale to red in about 2 seconds. "They were just here to support me," she said quickly. "This wasn't a test. I looked at the two cars parked conveniently down the street. Support you in breaking up with me? With witnesses hiding outside? Nobody answered. The silence stretched long enough to feel heavy. Melissa crossed her arms and said, "It was just to see how much you cared." There it was. A test. I nodded once. "So you pretended to break up with me to measure my reaction?" Kayla finally exploded. "You were supposed to fight for me." That's when I realized this wasn't just immaturity. This was entitlement. And now all three of them were staring at me, waiting for damage control. Instead, I said the one thing none of them were prepared for. I wasn't pretending about Erin. And this time, there was no acting in her reaction. You know that moment when someone is about to deny something, but their body betrays them first? That's what happened. Kayla's lips parted like she was about to fire back, but nothing came out. Her eyes flicked to Melissa, then to Jenna, then back to me. "What are you implying?" she asked finally, but the bite in her voice was forced. "I'm not implying anything," I said. "I'm saying I noticed." Melissa scoffed. "Noticed what?" "Patterns." I kept my tone steady. No anger. No raised voice. That seemed to bother them more than if I had yelled. 3 months ago, Erin barely existed. Then suddenly he's in every story. Every complaint. Every joke. Late meetings that never used to happen. Phone face down. New password. Increased gym sessions on nights. He conveniently works late too. Kayla jumped in quickly. "Oh my God, you sound insane right now." Maybe. But insane people don't usually stay calm during a breakup ambush with an audience hiding outside. That landed. Jenna looked uncomfortable now. Melissa tried to hold her ground. Even if she talks to him, that doesn't mean anything happened. I shrugged. I didn't say something happened. I said I was tired of pretending I didn't see it. Kayla folded her arms. "So what, you think I'm cheating?" "That's the interesting part," I replied. "I didn't until tonight." Silence. Because if this was just a dumb loyalty test, you would have been offended, confused, angry that I'd even suggest it. Instead, you asked who told me. Her jaw tightened. Melissa tried to pivot. This was about him proving he cares. I looked at her. "You don't measure care by staging a breakup. You measure insecurity." Kayla's voice shook now. "You didn't even try to fight for me. You didn't even try to respect me." I answered. That's when she lost it. "You're deflecting because you know you messed up. You're trying to flip this on me." "Flip what?" "That you've been emotionally cheating on me with Erin." The room went still. Jenna's eyes widened. Melissa looked straight at Kayla. "Emotionally cheating?" She repeated. Kayla shot her a look that said stop talking. I watched that exchange very carefully. "Interesting choice of words," I said quietly. "I never used the word cheating." Kayla's breathing got shallow. "You just did." And for the first time since I walked in, she looked genuinely cornered. Not because of the test, but because now her friends were staring at her instead of me. And the script they'd rehearsed? It was completely useless now. The silence after that felt heavier than anything else that night. Kayla was staring at me like she was trying to calculate damage in real time. Melissa and Jenna were no longer smirking. They were studying her. "Emotionally cheating?" Melissa said again, slower this time. Kayla snapped. "That's not what I meant." But it was exactly what she meant. You don't accidentally choose that phrase unless it's already been sitting in your head. I picked up my keys from the coffee table. "Look," I said evenly. "You wanted a reaction. Here it is." Kayla's eyes widened slightly. "So that's it? You're just walking away?" I looked at her carefully. Really looked at her. "You staged a breakup to see if I'd beg. You had an audience hiding outside like this was some kind of reality show. And in the middle of it, you accidentally revealed there's more going on with Erin than you're admitting." Her voice sharpened again. "Nothing is going on with Erin. Maybe, maybe not. But here's the thing." I paused long enough that all three of them were locked in. "I don't fight for garbage." That word hit the room like a dropped plate. Kayla recoiled. "Garbage? Excuse me?" "Yeah. If someone thinks so little of me that they need to test me instead of talk to me, that's garbage behavior. If someone wants to manufacture drama for entertainment, that's garbage behavior. If someone is entertaining another guy while keeping me as the safe option, that's garbage behavior." Melissa started to protest, but I held up a hand. "You don't get to be shocked when someone refuses to compete in a game you rigged." Kayla's eyes were glossy now, but not from heartbreak. From anger. From ego bruised in front of her friends. "You're overreacting," she said. "It was just a test." "Exactly. And I'm not auditioning for the role of desperate boyfriend." I walked toward the door. No rush. No slammed exits. Behind me she said, "If you leave right now, we're done." I stopped, turned slightly, and met her eyes. "You already said it was over." Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then I added one last thing. "Next time you want to test someone, Make sure you're not the one being graded. And I walked out. No yelling. No begging. No dramatic chase down the driveway. Just the sound of her friends whispering as the door shut. I didn't look back. The second I got into my car, my phone lit up. First text came before I even started the engine. Kayla, are you seriously leaving like that? Then another. Kayla, this is insane. Then 3 missed calls in a row. I didn't answer. I drove. About halfway home, the text shifted tone. Kayla, you embarrassed me in front of my friends. Kayla, you made me look stupid. Kayla, this was supposed to show you care. That part actually made me laugh. Show I care. By begging for someone who just theatrically dumped me? When I got home, I didn't sit and spiral. I didn't pace. I didn't draft some long emotional message. I opened my phone and blocked her number. No announcement. No warning. Just done. Then Instagram. Blocked. Snapchat. Blocked. Facebook. Blocked. Even LinkedIn, because I know how these things go. Total digital silence. It wasn't petty. It was procedural. You don't keep access open to someone who just tried to manipulate you publicly. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I let it ring once. Twice. Voicemail. Her voice. Why are you blocking me? That's so immature. We need to talk about this. No, we don't. I deleted it. Then another unknown number called. Melissa this time. You're blowing this out of proportion, she said the second I answered. I didn't even greet her. You guys staged a breakup to test me. That's already out of proportion. It was just to see if you'd fight. I'm not fighting for someone who thinks I'm disposable. She huffed. Kayla is crying. I'm sure she is. You don't even care? I care enough to remove myself from nonsense. And then I hung up. Blocked that number too. By midnight, there were 4 different unknown numbers that tried calling. I blocked every single one. The next morning, I woke up to peace. No paragraphs. No emotional essays. No manipulative apologies. Just silence. And for the first time in weeks, I felt clarity. But here's where it gets interesting. Because around noon, I got a message. Not from her. From Aaron. I almost didn't open it. Unknown Instagram account. No profile picture. Just a name. Aaron M. Message request. For a second I thought it was fake. One of her friends trying another angle. But the profile had normal posts. Work events. Gym photos. Marketing quotes. It looked real. The message was short. Hey man, I think we need to clear something up. That was it. No emojis. No aggression. Just that. I stared at it for a minute, then accepted the request. Clear what up? I replied. The typing bubble appeared almost immediately. Kayla told me what happened last night. I had no idea she was planning to test you. I'm not involved in whatever that was. Interesting phrasing. Not involved in whatever that was. So you were involved in something else? I typed back. The typing bubble disappeared, then came back. Look, I don't want drama. But she's been telling me for weeks that you two were basically over. There it was. My stomach didn't drop. I didn't feel rage. Just confirmation. Basically over? Yeah, her words. She said you were distant. That you weren't serious about the future. That she felt single in the relationship. I actually laughed out loud at that. We had just looked at vacation properties 2 weeks ago. She mentioned you weren't ready to commit. I replied with one sentence. She was the one staging breakup rehearsals. There was a long pause before he answered. I didn't know that. Sure you didn't. Look, he wrote. Nothing physical happened. That sentence told me everything. Because when someone volunteers that, it means there was something that almost did. Almost is still intentional. I responded carefully. You don't owe me loyalty. She did. Another pause. Then he said something I didn't expect. She kissed me once. At a happy hour. I pulled back. I told her she needed to figure her situation out. I stared at that message. So the emotional cheating line wasn't a slip. It was projection. And now the entire test made sense. She wasn't testing my loyalty. She was testing whether she could leave without consequences. I typed one final message. Thanks for the honesty. And then I blocked him too. Not because I was angry at him, but because I don't keep loose ends. And just as I set my phone down, there was a knock at my door. Slow. Measured. Not frantic. I already knew who it was. I didn't rush to the door. If you've ever dealt with someone who thrives on emotional spectacle, you know the worst thing you can do is match their urgency. The knock came again. Same rhythm. Controlled. Not panicked. I opened the door. Kayla stood there. No friends this time. No audience. No mascara streaks either. She had clearly taken a minute to compose herself. Can we talk? She asked. You already did, I replied. She stepped forward slightly like she expected to be invited in. I didn't move. You blocked me, she said. Yeah, that's childish. No, what's childish is staging a fake breakup with spectators. Her jaw tightened. I came here to fix this. There's nothing to fix. She exhaled sharply. You're really going to throw away 2 years over one mistake? I tilted my head slightly. One mistake? Her eyes flickered. The test was stupid. Fine. I admit that. My friends hyped it up. I got caught up in it. And Aaron? There it was. Her posture shifted. Defensive now. He told you something, didn't he? He told me enough. She looked away for half a second. That half second was louder than any confession. It was just a kiss, she said quickly. It didn't mean anything. It meant you crossed a line. You've been distant. So you auditioned a replacement? That hit. You don't understand how it feels when someone won't fight for you. I laughed once short. You don't understand how it feels when someone tests you instead of trusting you. Silence. She tried one more angle. I was going to tell you. When? After you secured the backup plan? Her eyes welled up, but this time it wasn't performance. It was frustration at losing control of the narrative. You're being cold. No, I'm being done. She stepped closer again. So that's it. You don't even care enough to argue? Arguing implies negotiation. I'm not negotiating my standards. That sentence landed hard. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback ready. I opened the door a little wider, not to invite her in, but to make the exit clear. You wanted to see if I'd fight for you. You got your answer. I won't fight for someone who's already halfway out the door. Her voice dropped. You're making a mistake. Maybe, but it won't be the kind that requires a loyalty test to uncover. She stood there for a long moment, waiting for a crack. There wasn't one. Eventually, she turned and walked down the hallway. No dramatic last words. No screaming. Just footsteps fading. I closed the door, locked it, and that should have been the end of it. It wasn't. The next 3 days were quiet. Too quiet. No calls. No surprise visits. No long emotional emails from burner accounts. I half expected escalation. People who orchestrate loyalty tests usually don't accept silence well. But nothing came. Until Monday morning. I was at work reviewing a quarterly forecast when my assistant buzzed my office. Hey, there's someone here asking for you. Who? She hesitated. Kayla. I closed my laptop slowly. Of course. Tell her I'm in a meeting. I already did. She said she'll wait. I walked out to the lobby. She was sitting upright in one of the leather chairs like she belonged there. Composed again. Hair done. Neutral expression. This wasn't emotional. This was strategic. You can't just show up here, I said quietly. You blocked every other option. That was intentional. She stood. We need closure. No. You need reassurance. Her jaw flexed. You really think this is that simple? It is for me. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. You think one kiss means I don't love you? I think one kiss means you were willing to risk everything before we were even officially done. You pushed me away. I didn't stage a breakup with backup witnesses. She swallowed hard. I was scared. Of what? That you wouldn't choose me. That sentence almost made me feel something. Almost. You don't test someone to see if they'll choose you. You communicate. You don't understand how my friends think. I don't date your friends. That shut that angle down. She tried a softer tone. We can fix this. I'll cut Aaron off. I'll block him. I'll do whatever you need. That right there confirmed something important. She was negotiating now because she lost leverage. I don't want reactive loyalty, I said. I want proactive integrity. She looked genuinely confused. What does that even mean? It means I shouldn't have to threaten leaving for you to behave. Silence stretched between us. A few coworkers glanced over, pretending not to. Finally, she said the one thing that clarified everything. I just wanted to know you'd fight for me. I shook my head slightly. And I wanted to know you wouldn't make me compete. We were standing on 2 completely different operating systems. She realized it too. Her voice dropped. So that's it. Yeah. She stared at me for a long moment, searching for hesitation. There wasn't any. Then she said something quieter. Aaron didn't show up for me the way you did. That wasn't a compliment. It was an admission that she compared and lost. I gave her one final answer. You shouldn't need a comparison to know who's solid. And I walked back into my office without looking back. But this time, as the elevator doors closed behind her, I knew something had shifted. Because later that afternoon, my phone buzzed again. And it wasn't her. My phone buzzed around 4:30 p.m. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something told me this wasn't random. I answered without greeting. You block fast, Melissa said. I leaned back in my chair. You're calling from a different number because I blocked you. Correct. She exhaled sharply. I'm not calling to yell at you. That was new. Then what? Silence for a second. I didn't know about Aaron. That caught my attention. I didn't respond. She kept going. We thought the test was harmless. Stupid, yeah, but harmless. Kayla made it sound like you were emotionally checked out, and she needed to know if you'd step up. Step up how? By begging? She ignored that. She never told us she kissed him. We found out the same way you did. So she told you. She broke down after you left your office today. Said Aaron admitted he told you. Interesting. Melissa's voice had lost its edge. It sounded unsettled. She said it was a mistake. That it only happened once. That she pulled away. I didn't correct her. That's not what he told me. Melissa went quiet. He told you she initiated it, didn't he? I said nothing. That was answer enough. She cursed under her breath. This whole thing was supposed to prove you cared. It turned into exposing her. No, I said calmly. It exposed itself. Another pause. She's spiraling, she admitted. She thought you'd fight. She thought you'd panic. She didn't think you'd just detach. I don't chase people who are already testing exits. Melissa let out a slow breath. You're not even angry. I was. Briefly. Then I evaluated. Evaluated what? Whether this was someone I could trust long term. And the fact that she needed a staged breakup to measure my commitment tells me everything I need to know. Melissa didn't argue that. You really won't take her back? No. Even if she cuts Aaron off? That's damage control, not character. There was a long stretch of silence. Finally, she said something that felt almost like honesty. She thought you were safe. Stable. Predictable. She didn't think you'd walk. That's the problem. People get comfortable testing what they think won't leave. Melissa gave a small, humorless laugh. Well, you definitely ruined that assumption. I didn't respond. She sighed. For what it's worth, I think she just realized she played herself. That wasn't satisfying. It was just accurate. When I hung up, I didn't block the number. Not because I cared, but because the story was already over for me. After Melissa called from the unknown number, I realized something simple. As long as there was a way to reach me, there would be attempts. So I closed the loop properly. I blocked Kayla's number again. Blocked the new one Melissa used. Filtered unknown callers entirely. Blocked Aaron. Blocked the friend group I knew would rotate numbers. No loose ends. For 2 days, nothing came through. Then Monday morning, I opened my inbox at work. Subject line. Can we talk? Personal email address. Not her work one. She'd found my old Gmail. I stared at it for a full minute before opening it. It wasn't dramatic. No crying emojis. No paragraphs in all caps. Just controlled honesty. I thought you'd calm down by now. I didn't expect you to actually cut me off completely. I messed up. I let my friends get in my head. I kissed Aaron because I wanted to feel wanted. I staged the breakup because I wanted proof you wouldn't leave. You leaving proved the opposite of what I expected. That last line was the most honest. She didn't regret the test because it was wrong. She regretted it because it backfired. At the bottom she wrote, "You don't have to respond. I just needed you to know I understand now." I sat there for a while. No anger. No surge of vindication. Just clarity. Then I did something simple. I archived the email. No reply. Then I created a filter so anything from that address would skip my inbox entirely. Not blocked. Just invisible. Because here's the thing. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. She wanted reassurance that she hadn't permanently broken something. I wasn't going to provide that. People who test loyalty assume safety. They assume you'll absorb it. She thought I was stable enough not to leave. She forgot stable also means consistent. My boundary didn't change just because she panicked. That was the final move. No dramatic speech. No last message. Just silence. If you ask me whether it was worth walking away over a test and a kiss, here's my answer. It wasn't about the kiss. It was about the mindset behind it. You don't hedge bets in a relationship you respect. You don't stage exits to measure devotion. And you don't keep someone as stability while sampling attention elsewhere. She wanted to know if I'd fight. I did. By refusing to participate. And that's the end of it.